Motivated to train and gain and do all the other things. Motivated for garbage? Not so much. Welcome to Human Athlete. How are you? I hope you are well here. Hope you are well here. I hope your environment is supporting you. I hope you have a great grasp of the challenges before you, whether they're good, whether they're challenging, and I hope you have the support and the environment you need to continue to move forward dynamically. It's great to see you. I have expanded the roster yet again. And so to our new teammates, I say to you, welcome. Welcome to Human Athlete. I am pleased and humbled that you are here. I am pleased because you recognize what we are trying to do as coaches, as humans, is for our athletes in the 21st century. And so therefore, you're part of the team, right? Welcome to Human Athlete. You know, we're in that time of year for some of us where summer camp is here. We are preparing for the season, and it's caused me to think about how I have always observed the athletes on my teams and what they do and how they do it best. And way back when, I was looking for things. Now, being a transformational coach, the incredible education and expertise that I have gained and earned through the science and the research, I have learned to observe in action whether my athletes were extrinsically or intrinsically motivated. How did you do that, Coach? Well, I got to be honest with you. I think once you see it and you put these things together, the research, the conversations, the collaborations, the observations, like you put all those together, you can't unsee it. It's crazy how often it shows relevance to the athlete and what I'm seeing. It's crazy. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it, in my humble opinion, right? But I'm not the only transformational coach to observe this, right? I'm certain that there are other coaches who have observed this as well and can articulate it quite well. Us transformational coaches, we're growing in numbers. We're coming for you. So, you know, I'm not the only transformational coach that could probably articulate these things. I'm certain of that. And what does this mean in the environment of coaches and athletes, right? Of the world beyond the field of competition. Those transferable skills that every parent in the world wants and loves for their child that need to be explicitly in the environment, right? It needs to be explicitly coached and developed, right? Let's take a look at that. We have talked previously about self-determination theory and straightforwardly how it shows the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivations, right? We all know intrinsic motivation means something deeper. It means that you are simply moved, you're inspired, right? Moved to do something in simple terms. And in this case, the sport you love and how you perform, what you do, how you do it, and the why of you doing what you do in the sport you love, right? Athletes intrinsically motivated. And generally, they're searching for deeper meaning to this inherent connection that allows them to learn and evolve in important ways, in philosophical ways, making those deeper connections between experience, life lessons, outcomes, right? How you perform the motor skills related to your position in your sport, being better every day, learning, evolving, developing, you definitely have this growth mindset. And intrinsic motivation means you've dedicated yourself to forever growing, evolving, and improving. Not only on the field, like off the field too. The human part of who you are, right? Because of the personal benefits that you will receive through this intrinsic process, this reflection, thinking about things, evolving with ideas, right? Work habits, dedication to academics, you name it. Whatever you apply that motivation to, right? You name it. And so extrinsic motivation, this is the construct, right, that's related to just an activity that's done just in order to obtain some separable outcome, an award, a trophy, a medal, right? These things I love. I'm deeply intrinsically motivated. But the extrinsic motivation is that this represents everything that I intrinsically put in to that skill, to that challenge, right? My diplomas. Those are all wonderful, separable outcomes. Okay? And you're either more or one of the other, to a degree, to a lesser degree. We'll get into it, right? But you're looking as an extrinsically motivated individual for that separable outcome. It's not a deep experience with you, right? Extrinsic motivation, it contrasts with intrinsic, right? Which refers to the activity simply being maybe just for the enjoyment of that activity. Which, again, yeah, there's days, me too, just extrinsically motivated. I just want to play the game, right? Just a pure enjoyment. And therefore, we probably in common have some of that also, right? Rather than its personal instrumental meaning and value to our lives, it's just a general kind of enjoyment. Nothing deep about it, right? That holds transferable life skills and lessons also. However, unlike some of these perspectives that view extrinsically motivated behavior as invariantly not autonomous, it's just a general thing everybody can feel, right? Self-determination theory proposes that extrinsic motivation can vary greatly, as I just intimated a moment ago, right? The degree to which you are one or the other or both, to some degree, completely autonomous, completely you, completely unique, right? So it's hard to make those observations as a coach. That's why you need time to see that body of work, understanding the motivations, and then putting those pieces together respectfully, right? As a coach. Right? Hey, extrinsic motivation, right? You do your homework because you know if you don't, you know, your mom and dad are going to get all bent out of shape. Yeah, we will. People have different amounts and kinds of motivation, right? They vary not only in level of how much motivation they have, but in orientation of motivation. And this is where I want to introduce you to that term, orientation of motivation. What type of motivation they have, how they are oriented toward it, right? The orientation of motivation is related to the underlying attitudes and goals, mindsets that ignite a rise to move or a lack to move or a not deep reason to move. Orientation of motivation, either way, is the why of your actions. Why you're doing what you're doing, why you're doing it, the way you're doing it. And when you put these together, now when it comes to coaching observations, generally, I'll use myself for an example, right? I have found that intrinsically motivated athletes seem to always ask more questions. They're more inquisitive in general. They're more thoughtful. They're more reflective. They're talking things out with teammates. You know, they're looking to grow. There's a collaboration element that's involved. And I'll give you one example. There's always a benchmark. There's always an outlier. And if it sounds like my tone is a little bit different, I'm trying for it not to be, but I'm human. I've had one athlete who is, I swear to you, completely and utterly extrinsically motivated. And for my athletes watching, you might know who that is. We're not naming names. It was challenging. For those intrinsic athletes, that's what I've generally observed over time, right? Meaning that they're being brought along, they're pushing themselves to develop, to perform their motor skills, the tasks related to the sport or the position they do at higher levels of expertise every day, every practice, every morning, every nighttime, right? Getting better, building their process overall. It's the through line for everything they do, right? And extrinsically motivated athletes, from my observations and from my studies and research, like there's a less inquisitive element and collaboration to it, right? Towards the development, towards their evolution, towards their practicing, towards their skill set, their motor skills, all of it. It's different. And over time, it's weird. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. What we see in practice and in games is a stark contrast to internal or external motivations over time. Like even in games, like I swear it and I believe it to my soul. Internally motivated, the intrinsically motivated athlete, you will never hold them down. You will never hold them down. The extrinsically motivated athlete, you will never hold them down. Never. But it's the intrinsic one who seems to just keep going over time. And when you have those conversations with them, you hear it. As a coach, you see it, you hear it. And again, the orientation of motivation, this new piece that's important to this, that will help you understand even more so about yourself, reveals the type and the degree of your underlying attitudes, your mindset toward your goals, and your internal or external motivations. If you as an athlete know your orientation of motivation toward what you do on and off the field, and not only are you going to be a successful athlete, congratulations, you're going to be a successful human also.
Don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.